Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending blessings, sending positivity, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are talking Love is Blind Season 4. We were talking about the latest episodes to drop. I believe it was episodes 9, 10, and 11, and it was a hot mess, you guys. It was a hot mess. This season started off, I was like, I'm not feeling the season. And now it's like this season is scandalous, you guys. This season is full of scandal and heartbreak and drama, you guys. So let's get into it. So Micah is getting a favorable edit now in these last set of episodes, compared to the Mean Girl edit she was getting from the beginning. But I am not buying what her and Paul are trying to sell, you guys. I am not buying any of it. It is giving scripted. It is giving, we are just here for the check. We are just here to get to the wedding. And then we're all going to tell you guys no. Like, that is what it's giving. I see nothing romantic between them. I see no spark. It looked like it was a chore to even give each other a peck on the cheek, you guys. Like, I am just not buying any of it. And are we getting regurgitated storylines of going to get the rings made or the rings engraved into something? Isn't that a bad omen for Love is Blind? Doesn't that always end up with the couple saying no at the altar? Or at least one person saying no at the altar? I'm not here for it, you guys. I'm not here for it. They're a snooze fest, and I'm not buying any of it, right? As for Chelsea and Kwame, I just don't understand, you guys. I think Chelsea, she is in this fantasy land. She is this fantasy of what it looks like to be Cinderella and meet her prince and live happily ever after, except for that's not real life, you guys. And she is willing to take the scraps that Kwame is giving her, even though he is giving her several opportunities to end this. He is telling her, listen, I don't want to move. Listen, I don't like the way you speak to me. Listen, my mom's not on board for this marriage. Listen, I don't want you to take my last name unless my mom approves. Blah, 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 blah. Kwame is, now trying to look like a jerk for the cameras, because as you guys know, or if you don't know, he was supposed to be on a season of Married at First Sight, but it didn't work out because whoever was supposed to be his bride dropped out last minute, right? So this is the second opportunity at reality TV, you guys. So he's not going to mess this up. He's not going to look like a douchebag on Netflix, right? So he's going to go through with this regardless, but he keeps hinting to Chelsea, this isn't it. We're not into each other like that, or at least I'm not into you like that, right? But he's going to keep it going. He will push this through, but like I said, whether he ends up marrying Chelsea or not, I fully expect him to be on season 2 of The Perfect Match, you guys. Because, he's not a person who is going to want to lose anything. And then he keeps calling Chelsea, dude, and everything else. That is not it for me at all, right? And then I thought they were doing an engagement shoot, which didn't make sense a couple days before the wedding, which turned into a boudoir shoot. And I was like, oh no, this is inappropriate. And props to the cameraman, because he had a completely different idea of what this photo shoot was supposed to be. And then they dropped into their Calvin Kleins, and it was just awkward. It was just absolutely awkward. But props at least to, Kwame's brother and sister, who appear to have more sense than him, to at least show up to the wedding, right? Whatever happens with this wedding, right? To at least show representation. So there's that. But of course, Netflix played us and did not show us ultimately what Kwame's response is going to be, whether or not he is going to say I do to Chelsea. We have to wait another week. So there is that. On to Bliss and Zach, you guys. I think there's some valid concerns with this couple. I know some people are rooting for them and everything else and want them to succeed, but Bliss still feels a certain way about being a second choice. And as we know, being a second choice on Love is Blind does not work out so well for you, right? Even if you do end up married, once you watch the stuff back, once you watch the encounters with the other woman and see what has been filmed, you get the vibe, okay, like, am I really still a second choice, regardless of everything I have to offer? And, you know, here's the thing. I know people are going to come for Bliss's dad. I hope Bliss's dad is at the reunion so he has the full story that his daughter was a second choice and he unleashes you guys. But I was here for some of what he was saying. Even though some of it came off rude, I think he sees something in Zach that he doesn't feel is a fit for his daughter. And I feel from that perspective, he has every right to question, you know, the authenticity of, you know, this soon-to-be marriage with knowing each other in so little time. And, you know, the little amount of time they were trying to bake bread, I think Zach was so nervous, he just went into a whole spiel about criminal law and traffic lights, you guys. But her dad was not feeling it. And I felt Bliss, like she kept interrupting her dad and trying to defend Zach and defend everything else that was going on with them. And I was like, oh, no. You know, there was no way I would ever get away with talking like that to my parents. Absolutely not, right? So there is that. So will remain to be seen if whether or not Bliss and Zach go through with this. I will do a spoiler video for those of you who want to know what has been spoiled about the couples. I will gladly do one, you know, so that we can talk about that, about what has been spoiled up until this point. So there is that as well. So who is next? Brett and Tiffany, they are everything. I have not been excited about a couple on Love is Blind since season 1, Lauren and Cameron. I'm team Black Love. I am team, you know, the fact that, you know, Brett is so caring and understanding of Tiffany. They both seem to come from great families. I love seeing Brett's father and his brother. It's giving me like Southern comfort, Southern family vibes. I love seeing, you know, Tiffany's mom and her friend that was giving like Lisa Bonet at the bridal fitting. I was just here for all of it. It is all good vibes. I love the romantic plane date that Brett planned for Tiffany because she was feeling overwhelmed, feeling the pre-wedding jitters and everything else. And then planned this romantic dinner with rose petals and pictures that he took of Tiffany with the engagement ring and everything else. And it was just nice. And so, you know, Tiffany reassured him that, you know, he is the one and that she is going to say yes down that aisle. So props to Brett. Brett is just killing it. Brett is killing it, and it makes me believe that there are still good men out there, you guys. There are still good men out there. Now let's get on to the mess that is Marshall and Jackie, you guys. I was floored. I was floored because we pick up after the birthday party, right? We pick up after the birthday party, and essentially, I saw the vibes between Jackie and Josh, and I'm like, Jackie needs to end this with Marshall, right? She needs to end this tonight. But they get back to the apartment and it's just not going well. Jackie is not able to, you know, say what she wants from Marshall because she doesn't want him anymore. And then she randomly gives him a compliment like, oh, you have pretty eyes. And it was just out of left field because, you know, Marshall's like, what? And so then all hell breaks loose the following day, you guys. So the following day is, you know, this is, I think, 5 days before the wedding. You have your annual, you know, bridal fitting and, you know, the men get the fits for the tux or whatever, right? So all the women showed up to get their bridal dresses, except for Jackie, right? And Marshall, he's up here with the guys, you know, getting his measurements for his tux. He's up here talking about how much he loves Jackie. Meanwhile, real time, Jackie is on a date with Josh, who brought her some grocery store flowers, and is just googly-eyed, saying that he made her bleep hard or chest hard. I was like, what? Like, just talking about how attracted she is to him. They even kissed. She said she doesn't even care about Marshall right now. Did not even give him the decency to just break up with him, right? To give him, you know, hey, this isn't working out. I'm not interested in you. We're not going to work out. Just already all over Josh, you guys, and talking about how attractive she is to him and everything else, you guys. And I was just floored. And so perhaps shout out to Tiffany and Brett, because Tiffany was texting Brett that Jackie wasn't there. I think somebody else had sent a selfie of all the brides that were there getting their fittings with their friends and family, and Jackie was missing. And so ultimately, Brett pulled Marshall aside at the tux fitting and was like, yo, listen, Jackie didn't show up to the fitting. She is nowhere to be found for this bridal fitting. So I'm so happy Brett did that, because honestly, I think production wanted to blindside Marshall. I think they did not want to tell him anything, and they wanted him to go back to that apartment and be shook and be surprised and be very humiliated and down. And so props to Brett, you know, for being a real one and letting him know, like, listen, this isn't it. And so basically, you know, Marshall, he gets back to the spot and it is not going well. You know, Jackie, she's in a mood because she's like, listen, you know, this isn't working out. And she's gaslighting the whole time. She's making this all about Marshall, right? She's making this all about Marshall and that it's his fault and that he's not aggressive and blah, 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 blah. But then she throws in there, oh, and by the way, I'm more attracted to Josh. I'm not attracted to you. So we're not going to work out. So this is over. And so Marshall's like, okay, but I want the ring back. And Jackie's like, no, because it still means that I was going to, at one point, commit to you. And I was like, what? I was like, what is going on? Now, I don't know if that was for the show, because the show does provide rings. However, they do say that if the grooms want to spend an extra money or whatever and get a more fancy schmancy ring, that they can do so. So I do not know if Marshall paid additional for a special ring for Jackie or not, or if it was a ring that is through the show. But Jackie was on one, but I at least have to give her this. She at least admitted that she is crazy and that she needs to do some self-work and some self-love, and that she may not even be a fit for Josh, right? At least she was able to acknowledge that, even though we know that, you know, she was all googly-eyed over Josh the moment that she saw him at Chelsea's birthday party, you guys. But what a hot mess. And so everybody is dragging Jackie. A lot of people are sympathetic to Marshall. The one thing I will say about Marshall, though, is he did say, you know, that he likes having that savior complex, right? Because remember, he said at the beginning, right? He said that he gave Tiffany basically to Brett because she was too old and that she was complete and all these things. And I think he was intimidated by Bliss because Bliss was also, you know, successful, had her stuff together, but was drawn to Jackie. Even though she said repeatedly she likes toxic men, right? She likes toxic men. She likes toxic situationships and everything else and the like. And Marshall was like, yes, that is my project that I am going to save, and I am going to make her fall in love with me and never go back to an F-boy again. And it completely failed miserably, right? It completely failed because Jackie, you know, once she saw what Marshall looked like, she was checked out, you guys. She was absolutely checked out, and, you know, was talking about how fine Brett was. I think that was on purpose. And had there not been Josh in the picture, she would have went after Brett too, you guys. Like, Jackie is all about superficial. She is not about anything legit, and it is all a hot mess. There is a lot of tea that is about Jackie and Marshall that I will save for a separate video because it is just a hot mess. But ultimately, I think Marshall would have fared better with some of the women who were either not selected to come out of the pods, or even a better match with Bliss, right? But it was just a hot mess overall, you guys. I was floored because I have never seen a female villain take it to this level on Love is Blind. Like, just had no regard that she was cheating on her fiance. No regard, didn't care about his feelings, didn't feel sorry. At least Josh had the audacity to ask about Marshall's feelings. He at least was thinking for a moment about, you know, his feelings and consideration, but Jackie didn't care. Jackie didn't care because it was all about how good Josh looked to her. And so for that, she was willing to just throw it all away with Marshall and, you know, see what was up with Josh, while she was supposed to be getting fitted for her bridal gown, you guys. And then she admits she never wanted to get married. So my question is, why did you sign up for the show? And the conclusion I've come to is for fame, for clout, for followers, you guys. Because if you knew that you were not ready to be legally married to somebody, it wouldn't have mattered if you selected Josh instead in the pods. You had no intentions of ever saying yes at the altar. So the whole premise of the show is for people to be ready to get married, and clearly you are not. So there is that. So we have a live reunion coming next Sunday, and I cannot wait for it to get here. It cannot get here soon enough, if you ask me, because there's so much tea out here in these Love is Blind streets, and everything is just a hot mess. But that is my reaction. I stayed up late to watch this because I just couldn't believe the foolishness that was taking place. I was floored by the end of episode 9 at Jackie and Josh. Going into the beginning of episode 10, my mouth was agape. Like, I just couldn't believe any of this that was happening. So there is that. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.